Thank you, Chair. Minister Blair, I'd like to follow up on the question my colleague started on regarding carding. While dealing with legislation relating to impaired driving and the legalization of marijuana by your government, our colleague Senator Batters put forth an amendment, and the Senate passed it, to guard against the systemically racist practice of carding by the police. But your government didn't accept that amendment and instead cleared the way for police to return to this racist practice. Minister, why was that? Whose decision was it not to accept the amendment? Was it yours, Minister?
Thank you very much, Senator. And in response to your question, I will repeat that carding, which is an arbitrary stopping of a person not based on the law and not based on evidence, and therefore without articulable cause, is not acceptable. It's not only unacceptable, but it's unlawful in Canada. Every police service is received that in their training, and within my police service, there was a very clear articulation of what circumstances must exist before any individual could be stopped, and as well. In addition to making it very clear to those police officers and all police officers that any activity or decision by the police cannot be influenced by bias, that training was also exist, and to help police officers understand the impact that bias can have on their decision making, there was also extensive training given to police officers to ensure that they had that information. And so when you suggest that we should make something unlawful that is already unlawful, sir, I would simply point out to you that decisions made by the police which are guided by bias or racism are already contrary to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and contrary to the Canadian Human Rights Act.
To the question about the amendment.
Minister, that's exactly it. The question is, who turned down the amendment in Cabinet? Were you in favor of the amendment that the Senate sent back in regards to carding, or were you not?
I was not in Cabinet at the time of that decision, and so I have no understanding of how that determination was made. But I can tell you that in my experience, the amendments put forward by the Senate are always given full and ample consideration out of respect for the role of this House.
My next question is for Minister Hussen. Minister, last week the Parliamentary Black Caucus released a substantial statement calling on all levels of government to address systemic racism. It's a statement which, if given the opportunity, I would not have hesitated, of course, in signing. The statement calls for and outlines comprehensive, concrete measures that could be taken by your government. Minister, what is the Trudeau government's position on the list of recommendations? And it would be helpful if you can reference specifically the recommendations, please, and what your government intends to do with them.
Thank you very much, Senator, for that really important.
I'm very sorry, but the block of 10 minutes is completed.